Welcome inside another edition of the Party on Fifth Avenue podcast, presented to you by Edgar, Snyder and Associates. I'm your host, Matt Farago, and while our first couple episodes, we talked to Brett Kiesel about PBR, we went around the world with the Harlem Globetrotters, but here at PPG Paints Arena, our core is, after all, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And someone who contributes hugely to that in the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation is their executive director, Yvonne Maher, joining us in this episode. Welcome.
Well, welcome, but you forgot to tell me before I got here that I was following Brett Kiesel and the Harlem Globetrotters and that I was supposed to bring the party. Somebody forgot all of that information today.
Well, we're going to blame that on Alyssa.
I'd like to blame it on Alyssa. She's not here, right?
No, she's not, naturally.
She better bring the party. Actually, she does bring the party. Alyssa knows how to party.
And she knows that you are capable of following.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll find out. The proof is in the pudding, right? Let's do this.
No, I'm excited to have you because not only does the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation do so much throughout the calendar year, but here in January, it is the big part of the month because Night of Assists is coming up, and it's such a big moment for the foundation and for the Pittsburgh community, and it's coming up on the 27th of January.
It is coming up on the 27th of January. It feels like it's going to hit us like a freight train really quickly. This is something that we started planning probably a year ago after the last Night of Assists. And I've been in the nonprofit foundation world for the last 35 years, and I've been to a lot of events in the city and around the country. And I can tell you that this is something that nobody else comes close to. There's absolutely no event on the calendar where people can get untethered, unfeathered access to the players and the front office of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, you're talking about playing Plinko with Gino. You're talking about making Warhol art with Sid. There are things at this event that nobody would ever get to do unless you are at Bet Rivers on January 27th. It's on a Tuesday. We don't pick the day necessarily. The schedule kind of picks us based on when the players are available and when they're not traveling. And this year with the Olympic break as well, things got a little condensed. So We're in January. It's a great way to end dry January early. A great excuse to end dry January early. We encourage it early and often. We're excited to talk about it.
I feel like it's one of those nights where core memories are unlocked because it's just one of those nights where you're going into it knowing I'm going to remember something. I don't know what, but I'm going to remember something about this night. I'm excited. I think I might be able to go for the first time. So I haven't been able to attend. But I've seen it when it was here at PPG Paints Arena my first year, and just the overtaking, the takeover of this building that happened. And I did get to see some of the setup from a year ago, which was at Rivers Casino. And it is a pretty hefty undertaking, and it's an experience that really is impressive, that you like to kind of immerse the fan in whatever the theme is. So I guess that leads me to say, what is the theme this year?
Yeah, so you said two things that are really important, I think, to think about. One is scale. This thing is a behemoth. It really is a behemoth. Like, we take over the biggest ballroom at the Bet Rivers and beyond. We can't find a place that can host us. And then it is an experience. It's not like a chicken dinner where you buy a ticket and you might win something. This is like you're immersed in it. So the theme this year is Pittsburgh is home. And you will experience Pittsburgh at this event. Everything is Pittsburgh themed. So there's a pierogi station. Did you know that the turkey Devonshire was actually created and invented in Pittsburgh? So there will be a turkey Devonshire station. Pittsburgh Popcorn, who's a partner here, will be there with a bespoke Penguins popcorn flavor that's never been tasted before. There will be the proverbial cookie table on the way out, so save some room. But along those lines, again, what we've done is, last year we had a carnival theme. People really loved the carnival theme. But we've dug even deeper. We've gone to the Andy Warhol Museum. They're going to have a double booth where we've picked some totes and some images, some iconic images of that scream Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Stanley Cup, don't tell the NHL, but it's a pop version of the Stanley Cup, the Big Three, iconic things like nets and pucks and sticks, and the players will be there to help the guests actually screen print on these totes and take them away with them. One of my favorite games is not a game at all. We actually had to double the space for it this year, is the players draw caricatures. And if you have ever seen Chris Letang draw a caricature, literally spending 20 minutes staring at you, drawing you, it's absolutely phenomenal because he can't draw a lick. He cannot draw at all, and none of them can. So it's absolutely spectacular to see them spend so much time creating this unique version of you, autographing it and handing it to you and sending you on your way. So it is a lot of fun. I mean, I'm not just making it up. It's a lot of fun.
No, I get more and more excited about it, hearing all the opportunities, because I think maybe the overall arching assumption about a fundraiser is that chicken dinner, sit down, and we have a 50-50 and we pull a raffle ticket, and everybody claps, and it's going to a good cause. But now you get to have so much fun and give to such a good cause. What do the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation, where does this money go, and who does it support?
No, that's a great question too. I mean, we are doing it for all the right reasons. The foundation has 4 pillars, and then I do want to get back into the games again because I've got some other ones I just remembered. But there are 4 pillars. The first, of course, is youth hockey. I mean, we are an NHL franchise. We should be supporting the next generation of hockey players and hockey fans. So everything from Sidney Crosby, little Penguins learn to play hockey, which is in about 20 different arenas around the area, everywhere from Erie to Altoona and West Virginia. We host programming there where little kids get their first opportunity to learn to play with gear as Dick's as a partner. So $250, you learn to play, you get fully kitted out in all of the gear, which, as you know, can be kind of expensive. We have a great program called Pittsburgh Pennies Girls Hockey Program. We're going to launch this weekend. I'm not sure when the podcast comes out, maybe next week, but it'll be last weekend then. But we had 6 clinics with over 200 girls getting on the ice, and about another 12 or 13 to come before the end of the year. So we want to engage fans. We have all kinds of programming. You can go to our website, pittsburghpenguinsfoundation.org, and learn more. So youth hockey is one. Education is our second pillar. But everything's got a hockey theme. So even our reading champions, which is brought to us by US Steel, it's built around 20 minutes of reading per day. So if Sid Crosby can play hockey for 20 minutes, you can go read for 20 minutes. And last year, I think over 1 million minutes of reading was conducted by kids participating in the program. We're going to launch a program called Science Champions, which is a STEM-based program talking about angles and velocity and speed, and what would the ideal hockey player look like if you had to make them from paper mache and cotton buds and sticks. So really kind of leaning into the creativity that hockey provides as a floor for children to be engaged in STEM and science. So those are just 2 of our education pillars. Wellness is very important to us, and again, thinking about mental and physical wellness. We have a baseline concussion testing program that we've been doing for 15 years where kids can and adults can get a baseline concussion test for free, and if they do potentially have a concussion or the suspect of a concussion down the road, they can automatically tell by going back to their readings. And very, very important when you're engaged in things like football and hockey and those contact sports. And coming up in April, actually, we have a student-athlete mental wellness summit. This is our 3rd year. It's doubled every year in terms of participation. This year, we probably think we're going to have 1,000 people here.
Wow.
So you're talking guidance counselors, hockey coach, or all coaches of any kind, teachers, athletic trainers, anybody who is near an individual or a youth who could be in sport, to really look for, i.e. identify, mitigate, and provide resources for children who may be having a mental health issue. I got this from our colleagues at the Liverpool Football Club. I'll never forget Matt saying to me, he said, a child is more likely to talk to somebody in a tracksuit than they are somebody in a white coat. And we believe that. So having kind of our first line for students, athletes, educating them about things to look for with our friends at UPMC Western and the Citroen 33 Foundation to really kind of continue. And it's become a huge event. As I said, it'll be like 1,000 people. It's free. It's down here at the arena. And our last pillar is community. It's kind of our Swiss Army knife to support things that are important in the community, which may not necessarily be hockey related, but are tangentially related in some way, but are good for our community. So those are the 4 pillars. Listen, I could go on all day. Yeah. But in our last impact report that we just published, I think it shows that we pushed out about $6.5 million last year in monies that we raised. So to answer your question in a very short way, the money supports our pillars.
You know what? And it's so important in the pillars. And I think, too, the foundation has done so much in growing the game and the sport of hockey in Pittsburgh and beyond. I mean, you just see how much it's grown in the past 15, 20 years compared. And that almost has coincided with the success of the Penguins. I think, too, making well-rounded youth and bringing people in with the sports, bringing the kids in with the sports elements, and then getting to hit on all of those other pillars that are so important and having so many educational components as well.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there are various platforms that allow you to engage with youth. Sports is one. Hockey is the platform that we have, and we use it as much as we can as a carrot. You're talking about the growth of the game. You know, Sidney Crosby is the one who established Learn to Play Hockey, and it was picked up by the NHL. So it is now in every single NHL franchise across the United States and in Canada. Everybody is doing a version of it. So there are kids now. How long has Sid been with us? 20 years? There are kids now who are in their mid-20s who went through Learn to Play, who are now hockey fans because of that program and because of the success of the Penguins, as you said, in terms of people growing with the team along the way. So our job is to continue that momentum. We have some Learn to Play alumni who are now playing in the NHL, but mostly we want them to be fans. We want them to care about the game. We want them to come to this arena. We want them to play in college. You know, an opportunity for girls. That's why we're digging in with girls right now. An opportunity for girls to get a hockey scholarship is just as strong as for boys, but there aren't as many girls playing, and there are as many D1, D2, D3 hockey teams as boys. So let's get an education, let's get girls on the ice, and let's get them playing and playing at an elite level. So yeah, we're pretty excited. We have great jobs. We have a lot of fun.
No, and it's fun. And even on the women's front, we've been able to see that at the professional level now as that league continues to grow as well. Have you been able to, and I know that this is a tough question because there's always more work to do, but even to look back into the rearview mirror and see how much that you have done and the foundation has done, and it's progressed in such a way that it's given so much back. And now to look back on Sid's career and what he's been able to help with the foundation, I mean, just to be able to take a step back and look at the work that's already been laid.
Yeah, I mean, we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. In fairness, you know, I've been at the foundation for 3 years. Dave Soltesz founded it with Mario and others along the way. So I think, I came in around the 10th or 11th year. So it really was moving the foundation from being highly transactional and responsive to really being more strategic and making larger bets and larger investments. So one of the larger investments we made this year was at the Cayman Science Center with Sports 360 and the science of hockey. So they just opened up a brand new exhibit. It's going to be there for the next 5 or 6 years. It was a $100,000 investment by the foundation, $25,000 from the Warner Family Foundation. And you can now go in there with the Pirates and the Steelers and test the accuracy of your slap shot. You can be put in the penalty box. So you can learn science at the Science Center through the power of hockey as well. So you talk about community, education, wellness, youth hockey. That grant that we made, and it's a big grant for us of $100,000, will showcase and give access to kids and youth to the power of sports with all of our black and gold colleagues across the city at the Cayman Science Center for hopefully the next 5 to 7 years. And I think something like 500,000 people go through that every year. So yes, we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, but now it's our responsibility to kind of grow it and keep it moving. And so strategic investments in STEM, the science of hockey, Sports 360 reading champions. We completely transformed the gym at Braddock One with our friends at US Steel, the Braddock One Library, which was the first Carnegie Library ever. It's now called Carnegie One. We invested in the transformation of the gym at UPMC Western Psychiatric as well for people who are inpatient. We had a grand reopening last year. We put about another $100,000 into that. So you're talking about these strategic investments that are going to have great impact for people who are either in care, who need a resource, who want to play and learn, who want to be educated and think about science and learning and reading. So yeah, we're pretty proud of it. So we're hoping for a big event on the 27th so that we can earn and generate as much money as possible so that we can just give it back out into the community and continue to pay it forward.
Yeah, Yvonne, if people are watching now, maybe they've been impacted by this foundation and not even realized that they were impacted in one way and didn't know all the other pillars that are involved. If someone's interested in supporting the foundation, whether that be financially or giving their time, talents, or treasure, what would they need to do to participate in it?
I thought you said this was a podcast. You mean we're being videoed here? What's
Surprise.
Going on
You
here?
knew that at the beginning of this thing.
Well, we're out. We have a website, the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation.org. We'd love to see you at the event. If you can come to the event, click on the tickets. There are VIP tickets where you get a little bit extra. You get to meet the players before they go into the gaming area. And then there's general admission. It's all you can eat, all you can drink, depending on where you are in the dry January phase, and then all the fun that you want to have, whether it's with Berg Bottles and Bobbles. That's one of our games with the Clemente Museum. I don't know, do you want to hear about that?
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So the wives, girlfriends, and partners of the players actually procured bottles of wine that are signed by their significant other.
Wow.
So those are hidden in a wine pull. And then we worked with the Clemente Museum, who donated, I think, 150 bottles of wine. They've put the Yager patch on it. And so if you win the first prize or a prize, you could get an autographed bottle of wine, great bottle of wine, by the way, by a player. Or you could get a bottle of Clemente wine with a Yager patch and a Yager bobblehead. These are the ones that were stolen but then returned.
Yeah.
That's one of the games. You can play shuffleboard. You can, there's a pop art card flipping game. There's the caricature drawing. There's a beanbag toss game. So really anything that's Pittsburgh based and Pittsburgh fun. That's one way to get to the event, to just buy a ticket. But if you also just want to support the foundation in general, you can go and make a donation to support us. The other way you can really support us is in arena. If you come to a game, buy a 50-50 ticket. So we get half of that 50-50.
Yeah.
The winner obviously gets it. And I think last year there was only one person didn't claim. So there's a high claim base. Wow. And those things run anywhere 15, 17.
It's probably me. I lost my ticket.
Well, we can check.
Okay.
It was like 15, anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000 that you can win. The other half goes to us for our programming. So we have the Night of Assists in January, the 50-50 every home game, and then later on we have our charity bag game, which I'm sure you know about as well. So every single this is the fact that really stunned me. There is a person from every single state in the United States that buys a bag.
Wow.
Yeah, so all 50 states, and there's one guy from Japan who flies over here every year for a platinum bag.
Wow.
He buys the $5,066 bag. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we have 11 out of 14, or 11 or 12 out of 14 provinces and territories in Canada that also buy. So this thing is everywhere. In Canada, in the US, and then one person in Japan, because we can't ship out of the country. So those bags are coming online, and they're fabulous this year. I mean, we haven't announced all that's in them, but there's a big surprise on the highest tier bag this year in terms of who the person is that's autographing them. So we're excited about that. And the other thing that we're going to drop today about Night of Assists is the featured entertainment. We just signed. I know I hope this doesn't come out before we announce it.
No, we'll make sure it doesn't.
We just signed Jeff Jimerson and his band
Mr.
Airborne.
Jeff Jimerson.
Mr. Jeff Jimerson is going to be singing with his
Let's go.
six-piece band, and DJ PD is going to be there as well. the entire current roster of players with custom jerseys, patched custom Pittsburgh jerseys that we will autograph and share. We have a fly with the Penguins opportunity to a game. We have Delta tickets to possibly, we're working on this, possibly see the Pat McAfee show live in Indianapolis.
Wow.
And we have a tremendous amount of really fabulous auction items that we want to promote. There was a guest actually that Alyssa facilitated who came in here, a comedian, well-known comedian, has a golfing issue, and he did a trade with Sid for some autographed items that we're going to have available in this auction at the event. So there's lots of ways to support us. Buy a ticket is 1, come to the event is 2, buy a bag, that's 3. Just write us a check. We'll take that. Anything except rolled quarters and cash, but otherwise.
And the biggest thing of Night of Assists is the Penguins players are all in on this, and it's not just an appearance and a wave, and you know, sometimes you go to an event and that is the case with professional athletes, and this is not that case. They are as involved in playing, and I feel like it's just really cool to see the players in a different light where they're lighthearted, you're lighthearted, you're playing a game. It just has an experience that really is not like any other.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, we put them to work. They are stationed at a game and they work it. Like last year, people were getting really competitive in the beanbag toss with Sid. Like the line was out the door. We're like, guys, like you got to speed it up. And like, Sid's like seriously concentrating on beating everybody for prizes. And then, as I said, Letang, 20 minutes of caricature, like no lie. He was really honing in on getting all the details, which were just hilarious when you saw the finished product. So there are 10 games, 10 game booths. Players, well, there are some booths that are just photographs, so you can get a photograph with them. Our Sportsnet Pittsburgh folks will probably be there, on-air personalities to take some photos as well. But yeah, they're the whole entire front office. I think there are like 20 people coming from the front office from hockey operations. So you'll see our coaches, you'll see our GM, you'll see others. It's like nothing. This is, like I said, when I talked about access, this is access like you've never seen before.
Well, Night of Assists 2026 on January 27th. Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation.org to get your tickets. You can get your tickets up until Friday, January 23rd on the website with everything starting at 6 o'clock. And what is the attire? What should someone wear to this?
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong person here. Look what I dressed for a video blog. So it is Glam Meets Game.
Okay.
And if you go to our website, there's actually a link that you can hit to show the folks in my office who are far more stylish than I. But it seems to be like you can be sporty Spice, or you can be posh Spice, or you can kind of be a mismatch of both.
Okay.
We'll see how it turns out. But yes, bring your favorite Pens gear, represent your city. You'll see a lot of black and gold. Be comfortable. Rocking those sneakers, hopefully, those custom sneakers. This is not a black tie event where you're going to eat a piece of rubber chicken. This is like bring your sneakers so that you can get around to all the players and be comfortable and have some fun.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
I hope I beat Brett and the Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh, absolutely. With the excitement of it leading in there, maybe if you could slide the VIP.
You want a VIP ticket? All right, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
All right, when we come back on this edition of the Party on Fifth Avenue podcast, a very cool guest will be joining me. Who will that be? We'll stick around and find out as we roll on this edition of the Party on Fifth Avenue podcast, presented to you by Edgar, Snyder & Associates.
After you've been in a serious accident, you're going to have a lot of questions about what the insurance company is doing.
These are some we hear all the time.
Why are they trying to get a statement when I'm still in the hospital?
Why are they inspecting my car without my permission?
Why are they asking me to fill out all these forms?
Why are they calling me all day?
Why do I feel like I'm being pressured to take their offer?
Want answers? Call us. And remember, there's never a fee unless we get money for you.
Pittsburgh, get ready to see PPG Paints Arena like never before. PPG Paints Arena tours take you behind the scenes of the home of the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is your chance to step inside the Penguins locker room and feel the history of the 5-time Stanley Cup champs. See the ice from a player's point of view and go where legendary broadcasters called the biggest moments in Penguins history. From championship stories to behind-the-scenes secrets, this tour is the ultimate Penguins experience. Visit ppgpaintsarena.com and book your tour today.
Welcome back inside this edition of the Party on Fifth Avenue podcast, presented to you by Edgar, Snyder, and Associates. And this All Penguins edition continues with one of the coolest people I know, in-game host of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Suzie Cool. So kind enough to join us.
You know, I am so excited right now.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's good to have you here because it's been a whirlwind. And while I know a lot of your story to get here, I think you've introduced yourself to a whole new crop of Pittsburgh. You were backhanding baseballs at PNC Park for the Pittsburgh Pirates as a ball girl. Spent a bunch of time in minor league baseball doing literally everything under the sun. And now you get to complete it almost full circle. Is it weird? You've worked for the Pittsburgh Pirates as a ball girl. You do sideline for the Pittsburgh Steelers high school football games with a pretty good crew of people. So I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And you also are the in-game host of the Pittsburgh Penguins. You completed the Pittsburgh hat trick.
I think what people forget is I actually worked for the Penguins before I even left. I was an intern here, a media relations intern, many moons ago. We don't have to tell anybody how long ago. It was 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. Oh my goodness. I'm dating myself. But I think you grew up here too, and especially with what we've both always wanted to do, this is a part of the dream. So being able to complete that trifecta and finally making it, quote unquote, making it, it's pretty unbelievable after the road that I've had.
Yeah, and now you've gotten a couple months into the job. What's it like here being in-game host and getting, I have to imagine the friends and family that you just get to run into, and then maybe even more so the people that you get to meet, the diehard Pittsburgh Penguin fans night in and night out. It's
been a dream. And I think that everybody knows that. Every single time that I talk to people, they're like, oh, do you love it? Do you still like it? I'm like, well, yes, I'm only a few months in, but I don't ever see myself not loving what I do. I've loved it for 12 years now, going over 12 years. It's great because I'm seeing a lot of people that I haven't seen in so long. Like, I'll bump into them in the arena, and I love catching up with people. But I think one of my favorite parts of the job so far has been running into people that they meet me and they either say, wow, like, welcome to Pittsburgh, and I get to tell them my story, or the really cool experiences that I've had are people that have followed me since I was Suzie the ball girl, and they say things like, wow, you earned this. Like, you finally made it here. It's been so fun watching you kind of grow up. So it's just been a really cool opportunity, and I don't take it for granted every single game. And I think that not taking it for granted stems from the journey that, you know, you get to the point where you said, I knew that I wanted to do this, and you were doing minor league baseball, minor league hockey. You're up in Buffalo and Rochester for a while, you know, putting the time in so that you knew that this was the end goal. Like, you want to make it to the NHL and by all stretches of the imagination, your hometown team. Mm-hmm. So I would have to imagine that, and I could even associate this with my own, of like the grind of this was always the goal. So now I know I can't take it for granted because I'm here. I got here. Yeah, and I think what I like to remind people of is I never wanted to leave Pittsburgh, okay? Never. And when I was here before I left in 2018, I had 6 jobs. 5 of them were in the sports broadcasting industry. I was going to grad school. The only reason why I left were because 2 very important people to me, Stan Savran and Dan Potash, sat me down at my desk and said, Suzie, you are doing great things, but you're not getting anywhere. It's like you're on a treadmill. You're doing the work, but you're not getting anywhere. Go make a name for yourself. And I took that piece of advice and I ran with it. And I literally made a name for myself, not just once, but twice and in multiple cities. But whenever I came back, and now the fact that I get to do this job, it just makes it that much sweeter after everything that I went through and everything that I saw, I guess, out on the road, right? Like, I don't know how you explain it, right?
Yeah, you saw a couple places, lived a couple places.
Saw some things, yeah.
I want to take you back to the day you got the call.
Oh, goodness.
What's that feeling like? What the emotions? I'm sure there's 100 of them. But that has to feel so good. And what were you thinking? What was going through your mind when you got the call?
So it's funny because I had my audition, and I know I was the first to go out of many people that auditioned. And I did that purposely. And I know everybody's like, what, don't you want to go last to leave the lasting impression? And my idea was, no, I wanted to walk in here and for there not to be another choice. Like, I wanted to be the person after I came in here and I showed everybody what I could do after working so hard for so long. And then I remember that was Tuesday. So Wednesday comes, and I actually went back to St. Vincent, and I did a discussion with Jean Statutory, and that was so much fun. And then all of a sudden Thursday morning came, and it finally sunk in, like, oh my goodness, I might not hear about this job for like a week. And I'm a very anxious person. So I was sitting there thinking, I don't know if I can handle not knowing for an entire week or however long it's going to take for the Penguins to make this decision. And I was driving back from the gym that day, and I got a call from a number I didn't know, and here it was Megan, now one of my bosses, and she told me I got the job, and I went silent. And I just started crying. And I know people think I'm a baby and I'm dramatic, and it's fine, but I don't think anybody realizes, and this might be a surprise to people back at home and even you, I came to terms that if I didn't get this, that at the end of high school football season, I was probably going to hang it up. Like, that was where I was at. So it gave me that next bit of life to take on whatever is next. And it gave me that next jump that I needed in my career. So when she tells me this, I'm crying out of joy, but also like, I can continue to do this. Like, I've worked so hard, like, let's freaking go. And I remember I waited to tell my family. I went to dinner with you that night. Yeah. But I don't think that there's any way that you can actually explain that moment, because it's so many years of work and so many people too that have helped you along the way. And then your brain just starts going, okay, so how am I going to tell everybody? That was like my biggest concern. Like, how am I going to tell everybody, and who am I going to tell first, right?
Yeah.
You were one of the first 3 people to know, so.
Yeah, well, I was hiding during your audition, hiding up in the suites, listening to the auditions, going, okay, like, and the people that audition are great, and you're not getting accepted and making it to this point without being it. And I think, that's the hardest thing to realize about this business, that so many decisions are based on a personal preference. Mm-hmm. And it's not that, someone's better or worse, or it's just a personal preference and a fit.
It's a personal preference, but it's even what a city might like.
Sure, it's a fit, yeah.
What does our city want? What does our city need for this fan base? So you don't know that. All those factors go into who actually gets chosen at the end of the day. Yeah,
and I think what Pittsburgh needs is Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And I think you fit that bill pretty well.
I think I do too, right?
What has this hockey season now been like? A roller coaster of a season in terms of the win-loss record, but there's a lot of excitement around this team, obviously with the big 3 and checking the box of 20 years, and then so many young players playing a part in this. What's this season been like for you?
It's been a lot of fun. And I think it's been better than people expected. I remember whenever I got this job, people were, I don't want to say negative, but they were pessimistic, right? I think that's the right term for it. Not knowing how this season would turn out. And then all of a sudden we started the season, started out pretty good. But like every season, hockey, I feel, is the longest sports season ever. Seriously, It is so long. You're going to have ebbs and flows. So, of course, you're going to have some of those points where the team's not doing as well. But the team, I think, has surprised everybody a lot this season. So it's been a lot of fun. And everybody has also been so welcoming, too. We did have the stretch where we had a couple of those overtime games,
Yeah.
So I think people were a little upset by that. But even during that stretch, it was just so fun being around the city, all those games, 5 games over a week span. I couldn't ask for anything better to do over that time.
Yeah, and with the games on the ice, you are also coordinating the games off of the ice. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite game to host?
Oh, that's so fun because we get to do it tonight. The baby race.
Of course.
It's so freaking cute. I can't stand it. And then I'm announcing these people like.
What's the age range?
So last race, they were all 8 months.
Wow.
Like, they were fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, some of them couldn't even crawl. And I said to the parents, what if this is the first time your kid crawls? You have it on camera at the Penguins game.
Yeah.
Everybody sign their babies up now. Come on.
Yeah, I should have had Ethan or camera producer extraordinaire, get his child in on this.
Yeah.
No, Ethan, you're out? No, he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's one
come
now,
on, Ethan.
so.
But no, that definitely, that's a lot of fun. I also love the Might of the Night interviews. It's not necessarily a game for me. They do shootouts and little scrimmages, but talking to the kids and making them feel so important and hearing the arena go crazy for this kid once you announce his name, it's so much fun. That's a huge part of my job, right? I think a lot of people look at my job like it's this glitz and glam. It's about you being on a microphone, but no, it's about me making people feel important and putting them in a spotlight that they aren't normally in, and I get to do that every single game.
Yeah, you're unlocking. I just talked about this with Yvonne in the earlier segment about core memories.
Yep.
Like that's the best part of what we do each and every night is we get to do it every night. We get to make people feel like that way every night.
Yeah.
And for them, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where they're going to talk about it for years down the road of the one night that I got interviewed by Suzie Cool at the Penguins game. Like that only happens one time.
I was taken aback a few weeks ago. I actually asked a kid, what has been your favorite hockey memory so far? And every other kid named something else, and I'll make a joke like, oh, it's not right now. And one kid actually said, right now. And I was thrown off, and I was like, well, it's my favorite moment of the season too. Like, this is so much fun. So again, you make those core memories for people, and it's just, you know me, I love being happy and I love making others happy. So I think that's why I love my job so much, because you get to be involved in so many fun memories for so many different people and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, and on that note, I got to give a shout out because being the in-game host is not all you do. Yeah. And you do some other things, including some marketing in your own business. Happy is Cool. So what if people are interested in hitting you up for some marketing advice? How would they go about doing that?
You can reach me via email, or usually I'm easiest to get to on social media, I feel, and then I kind of exchange the email and the phone number if needed.
Need your marketing.
Yes.
So
but yeah, my business is all about creative marketing for local businesses. I have, I think, 4 small businesses that I work with right now, and I have for almost a year, which is hard to believe. Like, I started that last February. I just was like, well, I'm going to do it. Let's go. And it's been working out ever since. And it's always evolving. You're always learning and trying to figure things out. But, yeah, I never thought I'd own my own business. But here, I'm a businesswoman now, Matt.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
And we're going to get in the time machine now. We're going back West Allegheny. Mm-hmm. When was your goal? When did this become your goal to be on air? You're a multi-sport athlete. Did all that? When did you find it? And when did that hit? I don't even think I know this answer.
Okay, wow. Well, first of all, my dad had a camcorder when we were little, and I actually just found it a few weeks ago. So, I'm trying to find out how to work this bad boy. However, technology has evolved, and clearly my brain cannot remember. So anyways, but when he got this camcorder, I followed myself around everywhere when I was little, and I would put on plays, and I'd force my family to, make movies with me. And it got to the point when I was in high school and college, anytime we did a project, if we had a choice to write a paper or do a presentation or make a video, you bet your bottom dollar, I was putting together a newscast on everything, or crazy music videos. It was insane. And I would sit at this little TV and I'd press rewind and record on a VHS, again, dating myself. But that was when I knew, hey, this is what I want to do for forever. I think, and I said this to my mom last week, there's nothing funnier than watching back old videos of yourself and your friends and your family, because it's real. I love real movies and all that, don't get me wrong, but there's something something nostalgic about watching all that stuff back, because
and almost seeing your change of personality.
Yes.
It's I would never say that now, but it's funny that I said that
I'm
then.
yeah, what is that? But the first moment, so I knew I wanted to do something on air. However, when I got into college, I'm thinking, I don't know if I can do news. News is hard for me because I think there's a teetering line of honesty, and I'm a very honest person, and you know this better than anybody. I don't know if I have ever lied to you, because me lying, if it's not for a good reason, my face gets red, I get really anxious, I start laughing, it's not good. So I just don't do it, right? So I was maybe news isn't for me.
It's not happy either.
No, it's not happy. Oh goodness, no. So then I took an astronomy class in college, and I got a D. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I can't tell people where the Milky Way is, there is no way I can tell them when a thunderstorm is coming. So I had the audition to become a Pirates ball girl. And I'm still like, okay, I'm going to do this somehow. I'll figure it out. And this was before like social media was so big and podcasting. And I remember April 19th, 2014, I walked out onto that warning track and I looked up into the stands and I said to myself, wow. Everybody is here for one reason, to be happy and spend time with people that they love. I want to be a part of this for forever. And like that moment, like I remember it in my mind still. That moment will never leave me. That was when I decided this is what I'm going to do.
I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, some people find their passion very early on in life. It's very rare that happens. And then others are trying to catch it up in college, and people maybe struggle through adulthood to not find that. And it's fortunate that you do find it. I think a lot of times that's why I think it's so important to tell kids to try everything, because then you kind of can find your passion faster that way as opposed to just going into one niche. So you do the baseball route, you end up in broadcasting, and through maybe some bizarre instances and your tireless effort, you find yourself a history maker.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
Oh, well. So my first season, when I left Pittsburgh, my first job away from here was with the Salem Red Sox. So at the time, they were the Advanced A affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. They are now newly named the Salem Ridge Yaks. Very different. That's a whole different discussion. Yeah. It is a very cool logo, though. But I went down there for $500 a month.
A month.
A month.
For the record.
Yeah, for the record, you heard that right. Not a week, a month.
Yes, not misspeak.
As a media and assistance graphic and on-field host. And I got there, and I'm making $500 a month, and I'm sitting at my desk, and it's like April. And I'm thinking, what did I do to my life? And I've had this thought many times in my career. Okay? And like,
we all been there.
If you're in this business, you're going to have that thought more times than not. And I'm thinking, what the heck did I do to my life? Like, I was doing so much. Like, I left Pittsburgh, and now I'm just in this small town. Like, am I going to get back there and be able to do what I was doing? And then all of a sudden, like, I started coming across these tweets of all, like, a couple, there were only 3 at the time, females broadcasting in minor league baseball. And I was like, well, why can't I do that? So I went to my GM, I went to my assistant GM, and I went to my play-by-play guy at the time, and I said, hey, what do you think I hop on a couple of games? And they were like, that's a great idea. So then they ended up getting it cleared, but the twist was making $500 a month. I had to drive myself across the East Coast to go to baseball games, pay for my own hotels, and pay for my own food on the road. And that's because it wasn't a part of my original contract. Like, my original contract was just $500 a month. That's what I signed up for. So I just was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to make it work. And every weekend that I did not go on the road, I was coming back here, and I was ball girling, working at the TV station, and working at the radio station. And then I'd go back, and I'd do it all over again just to have a roof over my head. So I became the first female in the Carolina League to call a baseball game. So then the next season, my play-by-play guy had left, and I was in charge of hiring the new play-by-play broadcaster. And I know Matt is going to interject here.
No, not at all.
Yeah, not at all. There's like no bad blood between us.
Not at all.
But I had this idea at my desk in October of 2018. I was like, man, it would be so cool if we got a female in here, because we would be the first all-female broadcasting team in all of professional baseball. And the first round of applicants, it didn't work out that way. There was one female that applied. She didn't have the experience, and I was like, I'm not going to bring somebody in here just to bring somebody in here. So we ended up hiring somebody whose father actually was a voice for the Oakland A's, and he was great. Dom was great. But then 2 weeks into the job, he gets called up to a team in Texas. I can't think of who they are now, but it was in Double A. And he's like, Suzie, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, Dom, like, we're like players. Like, you got to go. Like, if a AAA team's calling me.
It's just like, you got to move up.
I'm going.
Up and out.
So somehow word got leaked, like, that Dom had now left to go elsewhere. And I remember I was, like, out that day doing an appearance with my mascot, and all of a sudden I get all these emails, like, on my way home. And I go straight to my assistant GM, and I'm like, am I in trouble? Like, what is going on? And he's like, it got leaked that the job's open. And it was so close to the season that all the people that didn't have jobs were, like, flooding me with emails. Lo and behold, 2 of the applicants, people that sent me emails, were some of the best female voices that we have in the game now, one of them being Emma Tiedemann, who is in the Red Sox system still, and one of them being Melanie Newman, who's a voice for the Baltimore Orioles. And we ended up getting down to those two, and we hired Melanie, and we became the first all-female broadcasting booth in all professional baseball, all because of a simple idea that I had at my desk in October of 2018.
But that's how a lot of these things end up happening, is you have a simple idea and like someone's crazy enough to run with it, and that's how the first time of anything becomes the first time. And now it's commemorated at Fenway Park, the home of the Red Sox.
So weird.
Is that crazy?
It is actually the craziest thing. Like,
when's the last time you've seen it?
I saw it in the summer of 2023. I went to Boston a couple of times because I was in Lehigh at the time, so I was only a 4-hour drive. But it's so surreal because people will go to Fenway and then they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is you," and I'm like, "Yeah, like, hey, that's me." And it's so, and you know this about me, I think more than anybody, or at least like my closest friends. Like, I don't ever bring that up.
No, but I think it's important, especially in a forum like this. I think it's important for Pittsburgh to know that you just didn't knock on the Penguins' door and say, "I think it's a great idea to make me the in-game host."
Hey, I can
There's
actually.
a story behind this.
There's a whole story.
And work. And like, I think that, you know, sometimes, especially on the women's side of things, goes over and underlooked of how much work and how much prep and how much all goes into building a career that's worthy of being on a stage in a professional atmosphere every night in and night out. So you deserve those flowers.
Yeah, well, thank you. And also, I want to make it known that that my next year in Salem, I did make more than $500 a month. Like, we were able to save some money. Okay? Yeah, it was $600. I'm just kidding. It was way more because I took on a full-time role. But like, let's just clear the air for everybody.
Well,
here.
they're going to start getting emails down there.
And they did pay for my hotel the second season because it was in my contract. So here we are.
But I think that even those parts of the story of like the grind of minor league, people don't, even for players at the lower levels, is rough.
Yeah, and I think that's also something too, is like, I was the media and graphics assistant and on-field host and color analyst my first season, but the next season I was the marketing and promotions manager, on-field host, color analyst, plus fill-in play-by-play when Melanie wasn't there. Like, to put into perspective, I ran the entertainment in the ballpark, also on-field hosted, half the time would run up to the booth for the 7th inning to continue to cover the game, run the social media, run game notes. Like, it was everything.
And that spans, to put it in perspective in like Penguins terms, that's 20 to 25 people.
Yeah.
that do all those jobs here. So,
I was a one-man band.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, you're a Pittsburgher through and through. So a lot of the times we had Brett Keese on, who's an adopted Pittsburgher, and we had Zeus McClurkin from the Globetrotters on, and he's been in Pittsburgh a bunch. So you're really the first Pittsburgher to get these questions on the show.
Wow, okay.
But there's a couple simple ones here.
Oh, goodness.
You're
okay.
on the spot, though. Are you ready?
I don't think I am.
You're nervous.
I'm nervous. You just
That
saw
never
me.
happens.
You saw the wheels start turning. I was like, what are you going to ask?
Favorite place to eat in Pittsburgh?
Oh, goodness. Do you mean like the city, or can I include suburbs?
You can include suburbs. Yeah, there's
Okay.
Greater Pittsburgh.
Greater Pittsburgh area. Okay, there is this pasta place in Swickley called Forma Pasta. Oh my goodness. It is so good. And the portions are so delicious. Well, so delicious, obviously. They're so big.
The portions are delicious.
Yeah, the portions are delicious, but they are also enormous. So it's so good.
I've never been.
You got to go.
Yeah, we've gotten Permanis, that's a great thing to say.
Yeah,
but
I'm like pretty Italian, so like pasta is my thing, and Forma is. I actually tried to go last night, and they were closed on a Wednesday night, and I was like, this is heartbreaking.
The Italian places, and when they pick when they're closed,
they're selective.
It's rough. Yeah. All right. Favorite activity to do in Pittsburgh?
Oh goodness, I'm always working, so that is a hard one. Ooh. I don't even know. Like, work out? Can I?
That's not an
activity?
Like a fun activity.
Okay, well,
thing to do.
I mean, if I'm not working, I do like to go to sporting events. Like, you'll catch me at Pirates games.
Okay, non-sporting event.
A non-sporting event?
Yeah.
Eat. I like to go out and eat.
It's an activity.
That is an activity, right?
I guess.
You know, I like to
That'd
go
probably
out
be mine.
and eat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Over the holiday, I went to actually a couple of light up nights, and I've never done that before, and that was a ton of fun. Just like
Where
walking.
did you go?
I went to Beaver, and I also went to Swickley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was really cute.
Or Swickley's light up night.
Yeah.
That's Swickley's is very nice.
Yeah.
I've been there for that one.
Yeah, I will say though, Swickley's fireworks were not as good as Beaver's fireworks.
Interesting.
Just a tidbit for next year.
Something
And
to
Swickley, if you're listening,
step it up.
step it up.
Come
Just
on,
kidding.
Swickley. Now we're gonna get the. I wonder when we were gonna get the emails.
I'm sorry.
What's next for Suzie Cool?
I don't know. I love when people ask me stuff like that because I feel whenever I first got into this industry, everybody was always like, what's the 5-year plan? What do you want to do? And I was always like, oh, I want to be the sideline reporter. I want to do this. And now if you told me that, first of all, I would have had the last 2 years that I had, and then I would be where I am now after the last 2 years, I would have been like, I think that you all need to look into a different crystal ball. Like, I don't think that fortune is right.
But it almost puts it into perspective, like, maybe let things come as they are.
Exactly. I feel like I'm in such a good spot right now. I truly, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on here, I've said this to you so many times over the last few months, I'm truly like in a place that I dreamed of since I was little. And for the first time in my life, I'm staying where my feet are firmly planted. So I just want to take it in, and whatever comes my way, and I know that I am meant to do it. But I do feel that I'm in such a good spot, and I said this to you yesterday, like, I am speaking things into existence. Like, if I want to do it, like, ask. Okay, somebody's going to say no, who cares?
Yeah.
But guess what? Somebody could say yes, and then you could end up doing something really stinking cool. So just ask the question.
Yeah. I think, like, that analogy of opportunity knocking.
Yep.
And, like, that's great. If it does knock, great.
Yeah, good.
But if it doesn't knock, build a door so someone knocks.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that we almost are caught up in being caught up as being annoying too much of, like, asking a question.
But you're not annoying.
No.
And it's surprising because I think, and I actually framed a question like this a few months ago. I said, I'm sure everybody's asking you to do this, but I just want to put myself on your radar. And my boss actually looked at me and said, actually, nobody's asked me that. So yeah, like you're the first on my list. Like, mark that weekend off your calendar. It's a huge weekend here coming up in Pittsburgh. And I was like, oh my God, really? And it's like, all I did was ask. And he could have said no, but instead he was like, yeah, actually mark it off your calendar. And now I'm like, things are happening. Let's go.
Is that the best advice you could give to someone coming up through the business?
No. I mean, that's definitely that's like a top 3-er. But my best piece of advice, and I think you know exactly where I'm going to go with this, is be you. And I mean, like, truly, truly be you, like, throughout the entire journey. And don't let where you're at or people try to shape the decisions that you make. Like, if you know a decision's wrong, stand up for what's right. And it might be hard and nobody else might be doing it, but you will feel so much better in the end. I promise you that. So always stay true to yourself no matter what it is, because you are more than a job.
Yeah, no, it's great advice. And I think, when you're going through those early years and struggling, and I think if you're struggling, you know that you love it.
Yeah.
And instead of, you just said your feet are firmly planted here. I think when you're going through something, putting your mind to that point, to where you want to be, and imagining what it's going to be like when your feet are firmly planted, and it lessens the trials and tribulations that you might be going through in the moment.
Yeah. I think one of the most impactful conversations that I ever had was with my father, and it was in October of 2019. I had just moved to Rochester the month before. I'll never forget this conversation. I was sitting in the parking lot of Orange Theory, and
shout
out Orange Theory, and he started crying on the phone. And I was like, Dad, what's wrong? And he said, I just don't know how you do what you do. You go to all these places and you work so hard and you're putting yourself out there in front of thousands of people to judge, and you're making friends. He's like, I could never do it. And I said to my dad in that moment, because every day that passes is one day closer that I get to call you and say I made it. And from that moment on, it really reframed everything for me, because I realized, like, I'm doing this more than just for myself. I'm doing this for a lot of other people. And guess what? Like, I want to make that happen, and I want to be able to tell everybody I did it. And that makes it all a lot easier too, when you realize how many people are with you for the ride, and you're not just doing it for yourself or by yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely the way that it plays out, and wise words. And I think those family ties, those family strings, certainly they hold us together. They're our reason why a lot of the times. And it's really fun when you get on the other side of it and you get to see the other side of all the work that you've put in. If someone's walking through the arena and they see you, they got to stop and say hi, right?
Oh my goodness, please.
Yeah.
Please.
See, I feel like people are sometimes
oh my
afraid
God,
to,
please.
so.
Oh my goodness, please stop, say hi to me. I feel like I am an open book. And that's actually something that my boss said here. He's like, you talk to everybody. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? It's literally a part of my job. And I love making friends. And chances are I probably know somebody that you know, so we'll have a great conversation. But I love talking to people, so please stop, say hi, and let's have all the chats.
Yeah, and maybe you'll be the next feature on the Suzie Q of the game.
Yes, please take part in my Suzie Q's of the game.
So follow Suzie on social media, and of course catch her here on Pittsburgh Penguin home games here at PPG Paints Arena. Suzie, it was a pleasure. I'm glad you got your third episode in, so glad you got to come on.
I'm so glad I got to hang out with you. I always love it.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Suzie Cool, everybody, in-game host of the Pittsburgh Penguins, joining us. Thanks to Yvonne as well for joining us from the Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation. And thanks to you for watching this presentation of the Party on Fifth Avenue podcast, presented to you by Edgar, Snyder and Associates. For Suzie and Ethan, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, where there's always a party on Fifth Avenue.